Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome. I've got Sandra here with me today. How are you?
I'm great, thank you. And
Oh
yourself?
my goodness, I'm so excited to be here.
Yes,
we love
me too.
when it's time for Three Things Live, don't we?
I do. I love it. It's great.
It sure is. And it's a little chilly outside, so we're getting ready for some winter weather again. I know, it's spring. Weird, right?
You know, but that's Utah weather for you.
That's right.
You know, it goes up and then down.
I know.
And
I've
then
got
back.
a feeling it's that way for a lot of you out there.
Yeah.
Welcome to Three Things Live, where theme number 1 is something to smile about, theme number 2 is something to learn, and theme number 3 is something to discover. Let's go. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Three Things Live. I'm Kris here at my girlfriend's quilt shop, and we're always happy to see all of you here. Again, whether you're watching it live or you're watching it as a replay, we're glad you chose to be with us today. So we want to welcome you and tell you that we have a great show planned for you. We're talking this week all about the special women in our lives, and we have a very special project that we are doing part 2 on today, because yesterday we started it, today we're finishing it, and I'm so happy to have 2 of my besties here with me to help us do that. So I've got Jacki and Sandra here.
Hi.
Hello, ladies.
How's it going?
Good. How about
Good.
you?
It's
Yeah.
great.
Are
I'm
you-
so excited to be here.
Are you ready for the winter weather tonight?
Oh, I'm not even going to think about
Yeah.
that. I said, no.
Yeah, Sandra, you were just telling me about a picture that came up on your screen.
Yeah, I had you know how you have your memories that come up,
yes.
and one came up, and it was last year on the 14th of April, and there were a couple inches of snow that had developed. So, you know, you never know about Utah weather.
You never know.
You know, we can have snow as late as May and June.
It's true.
Around
Yeah.
here.
It's true.
Yeah.
We've had snow on Memorial Day before.
Yes, we have.
Many times. I
Yes.
do remember that.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
I have been on a motorcycle ride in Memorial Weekend, and it snowed.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
That's a
that
little
sounds
cold.
very, very
Yeah.
cold. I don't know.
Just have good vibes. It's not going to snow. It's
All
not
the
going to
vibes,
snow.
all the
It's not
good
going to
vibes.
snow. It's not going to snow.
Well, for sure, we have something that brings a little spring in our step today,
Yes, we do.
because, you know, the strawberries, you can't help but feel happy, and I don't know, there's just something about them, right? That
Have you
just is
eaten
so charming.
strawberries lately?
Have
The
I eaten?
flavor
Yeah.
of them is amazing
They're
in the
already
spring.
they're already out.
Oh,
huh?
yeah.
Yes.
No, well, not
Oh, I mean
locally,
local-
but I
oh,
mean
okay.
to buy
Yeah.
some
To buy.
strawberries right now is amazing, and the flavor in them is really good. So
Yeah.
Ooh, that sounds
Well,
yummy.
it's always nice in the
Laura's
spring.
telling us that our Utah weather is a lot like Chicago weather. So,
Yeah.
I have a feeling this is just one of those times of the year that you just quite never know, right?
I'm not ready to give up my sweatshirts
Yeah.
yet, though.
That's
the-
true,
That's the
too.
thing.
Yeah.
So I'm glad to at least wear my sweatshirts still
Yeah,
and
yeah.
not pack those away.
Yeah, I hear you on that for sure. Well, as you know, we're talking about celebrating our mamas this week. We're loving on our mamas, and we're loving on all the women in our lives. They're so very special. And we did a call out to all of you to say, you know what? It's time that you get in the photo, right?
Yes.
So many times we're the ones taking the pictures, or we're the ones who feel a little self-conscious about being in the pictures. But oh no, you ladies, you came through with flying colors this week, and you have been posting your photos, and we want to honor you in that. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of the ones that we've received this week.
How fun.
Let's see, we've got Barb Laxon. There we go. Look at all those generations there. And Jolene, so cute. They were on a cruise. Our friend Connie, oh, how fun.
I'm so proud of everyone.
I am too,
Don't
Lisa.
you
It's
Good
just
job.
been amazing to see all these
Shelby,
pictures.
we recognize her. Stacy, so beautiful. Bonnie, look at all those beautiful women there. Gayla, okay, that looks like a fun group, doesn't it?
Yes, it
Haley, oh, our very own Haley, and Becky, so very special. Jill, what a special photo that is. And Mandy, hey, we recognize
Nice
that
to see
gentleman
you, yeah.
right there, don't we?
We do.
Kathy Alhert, thank you for sending it in. Nicole Reiser, wonderful. Cheryl, Beth, oh my goodness, this is just too fun. Hey,
we know that person too.
I do
And that
too. Where's
person.
Kyle? Okay,
Oh.
Kyle's cracking me up with the cows. Here we go,
Yeah.
Dawn, I love that. Our
Oh,
sweet
this
friend
is sweet.
Lisa, oh my goodness, and Miss Abby,
Abby.
with her little
Aw.
pup. And Laurel Anderson, so good to see you, Lorna. Danny, very cute photo. Marcia, absolutely gorgeous at her daughter's wedding. Oh my
How
goodness.
fun is that?
Oh, that is so
know.
awesome to see all
I-
these ladies.
Yes.
Isn't it
It
great?
is,
I love it. And they're all
is.
so happy in their pictures. I love it.
Exactly. And do you remember the hashtags we used on this
Yeah.
week?
Yes.
One was proof,
Proof
of life.
Yes, there we go. I had to think. I said,
You gotta
I knew
love
it was
that,
of
right?
life. Proof.
Yeah, proof.
See, I can't even say that.
That's right. Proof of
Proof
life.
of life.
And our encouragement today is just to keep getting in the photos and keep, enjoying those little moments that
Yeah.
will really mean a lot to, not only to you, but to the other people in your life one day.
Yeah.
They're going to look back and say, oh, I'm so glad that mom was in the photo
Yes.
with me.
The thing is,
Yeah.
is that recently, I've been to a few funerals in the past couple of 3 or 4 months, and I've noticed that a lot of the pictures that they have, for that, they show all the family and everything. But I look back on it and I think, how many pictures are my kids going to have of me later down the line? And I'm going, not too many. So I've made it a point the last little while to
Yeah.
make sure that the pictures that we have taken as family or even as friends,
Yes,
that I'm going to be in them.
that's right.
That's good.
I
for
just
you.
have. I
That
just
is
like,
good.
you know what? Because my grandkids need to see this is what Nana was all about.
Exactly.
You know?
That's right.
And so I think it's important that we as women put those things aside that we're like, okay, I don't want my picture
Yes,
taken
yes,
out because I'm one of
I'm
them.
going to stand behind everyone
Yeah,
else.
exactly. I don't
or-
want
And
to
we need to get out there and get in
Yeah.
front and show everybody what we really are.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
so true because I am
So
not
true.
I'm not a big journal writer.
Oh, yeah, me neither.
And so I just was thinking the other day, I was like, okay, when I'm gone,
Yeah.
Jacki is just going to go off and
goes
Jacki
Jacki.
who? So I'm like, okay,
We don't
so
want that.
So it is really important.
is.
It is
It is.
important
It
that you
is.
do document.
Yes.
And
I think
mean,
so,
when
too.
you look at those pictures, it brings back such warm feelings
Yeah.
and love and,
Yeah.
no
I
matter who
agree.
you're with.
I agree.
Yeah.
Definitely. So we hope this challenge has been good for all of you. And if it has, or if it's made you reflect on some things that you want to do a little differently, we'd love to hear your comments. Just right down below. Let us know how you're feeling about proof of life and getting in the photo. All right? Okay, that's the challenge. We want you to do it and keep doing it. Okay, well, as I said before, we have theme number 2 is part number 2 today for this darling strawberry table topper that you see out before us. This is a girlfriend exclusive designed by our very own Suzanne. And yesterday they talked about piecing the strawberry and doing the background quilting. Today, Jacki, what are you guys going to be talking
We are
about?
actually doing the bias tape, the bias
The vine.
vine,
The vine.
Yeah.
The vine on
and
the
we're also
topper.
going to talk about the flowers. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Have some great things to share.
Oh, good, 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 good. I can hardly wait. All right, are you guys excited? I sure hope so. We will be back right after this with these 2 amazing ladies, and they're going to show us how to take it to the finish line.
Last week on 3 Things Live, we learned how to make the girlfriend exclusive Sherry Poppins bag.
That's right. Our magical Sherry taught us how to make a particular part of the bag in each episode. So you're going to want to watch each episode so that you can make your own at home.
Yes, 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 yes.
We learned how to add a zipper, pockets, binding, magnets, and how to box out the corners.
Watch 3 Themes Live every Monday through Wednesday, live at 1 p.m. Mountain and 3 p.m. Eastern on Facebook or YouTube.
If you're looking to level up, then click the link below.
You can choose your own adventure.
3 Things Live is where we always have something to make you smile
Something to learn.
and something to discover.
Let's go!
Welcome back.
Welcome back. I'm Jackie.
And I'm Sandra.
And we're so excited to be here today to finish out this really cute strawberry table topper.
Yeah, it
was
is.
a
It's
lot
fun.
of fun.
It's
darling.
fun.
We have in front of us actually a different colorway that you can see, and look how cute these strawberries and the purples and the teals.
It is.
We're
it's-
actually going to give this one away.
Oh, we can
So-
give this one away today?
Yes, we do.
Oh, well,
So-
it might take a little while for her to get
We
it.
have to finish. We have
gotta
to finish it
up first,
for sure.
but yes.
But I'm going to take and tell you a little bit about bias binding. Who's nervous and scared about bias binding?
Yeah, you know,
It
I
can
think
be.
it can be very
Yes,
intimidating.
it can be.
But once you learn how to do it, and the first time you do it, you're like, oh my gosh, I can do this forever.
Yes, absolutely. You always want to use a bias binding when you're going around curves.
Any kind of curve.
Any kind of curve, it just makes it lay so much better.
Yes, it does.
And so there are different techniques that you can do to do bias binding. So I thought it would be really a great thing to kind of show you what I've learned as with bias binding and how I did it. You can actually fold it. I know you can fold it as a fat quarter. This was actually a fat quarter. So you can get quite a bit of binding.
You got a lot.
Look at this.
That's a
Out of
lot.
just a fat quarter.
That's really
So
awesome.
It is a lot. So what you do, I'm going to put this to the side, and I'm going to show you how to do a continuous bias binding. So first of all, you start out with a square. This one I just did a small one. I did 18 inches when I did a fat quarter.
Well, I think it depends on obviously how
Right.
much you're going to need.
Yes.
Because if you only need a small piece, then you definitely don't want to do a whole fat quarter full.
No, absolutely
So
not.
this is nice to know that out of a 10-inch square, is that right?
This one I think is 12. I think I did a 12.
Yeah, 12
yeah,
inch.
it's a 12-inch square.
Okay.
So we're going to actually get quite a bit. I think 12 inches actually would be enough to go around there, depending on how much you do.
Okay.
But yes.
Okay.
So first of all, I cut my square, 12 inches, and then I drew a line diagonally on 45 degree. You can draw it on, or you can just use your ruler.
Yeah.
And then you cut it.
Okay.
So
There's a ruler right in that corner.
I'm gonna
'cause I just put it
actually-
away.
since I drew the line, I'm just going to cut it from corner to corner. So what happens is, this is the straight of grain that we've got around here. So when you're talking bias, that means stretch.
Stretch.
Okay, so then when you look at a piece of fabric, which I think is really, you can actually do the tug test. I do that a lot.
Oh, a lot.
When you figure out which is the straight of grain
Yes.
or which is the bias.
Right.
And so I am going to just cut this on my 45, well, on my drawn line. Now, if you were using your ruler, there is a 45 degree marking on your ruler, and all you would have to do is you could use your 45 degrees on here, and then line it up here, and then it would go on a diagonal as well.
But as long as you cut this
Yeah,
correctly, then you
actu-
just
yeah.
obviously.
So now I have two pieces. I have two triangles here, and so now this is where it's kind of fun. I actually have learned this, and it was great. So I'm going to turn mine this way because it kind of helps me to orient myself.
Okay.
And I'm going to put my right sides up. Then I'm going to lay it like this. So it almost looks like a pennant. You see how I did that? I put right sides together.
Okay.
It looks like a pennant. So from there, then I'm going to take it to the machine, and I will sew a 1/4 inch along here. Then afterwards, I'm going to open it up. And so here I have it already stitched out. And I'm going to press my seams open like this,
Okay.
okay?
I
So-
think that's important.
Yes, and then, yes, you want them open so that there's not bulk.
Right.
When you're gonna go to cut it, okay? So then it has a little, that's a parallelogram trapezoid. I'm not very good at geometry. So we have this nice shape. How's that?
That works perfect.
And so
Because I'm not good at that
I'm
either.
not, I never really did well in geometry. But, so now we have this, and now from here, we're gonna take our ruler, and depending on what size binding, some people do 2.5, some people do 2 1/4.
Now for
For this one, you actually do 1 1/4.
right, 1 1/4. So if you're going to do like a binding on a quilt or something, then you'd want to do a 2 1/2 or
Right.
a 2 1/4.
Right.
But since we're making a vine, we
Yes.
want it smaller.
Yes, we do. So I have drawn, this is 1 1/4. So I have just taken my marking pen, and I have marked a
1
1
1/4.
1/4. Now the important thing is that with this continuous binding, you don't really want to use a friction pen. End up pressing your other seam open.
Oh, because then it'll go away.
How did I know that? When it went away.
I can't imagine, Jackie,
And
how
so
that
I'm like,
happened.
I have used a friction pen, I don't know how long, and I still forget
Oh, I
sometimes.
do it all the time.
So anyway, I actually drew, it doesn't really matter because you're not going to see. You can use a pencil, you can use a pen. I actually used a Sharpie marker on this one so that you could see it. But I'm going to draw 1 1/4 all the way up to this whole area. So I've drawn it. Now I got up to the end, and there is just a little bit left. And you can see I kind of drew a squiggly line because I'm going to cut that off.
Yeah, you're not going to use that.
Because it's less than 1 1/4. So I'm going to just I'm going to cut that off. And it's really nice because now that I have my drawn lines, then I can just use my ruler and just cut that excess off. And that can go away. So now now it looks like this.
Well, then it won't confuse you, too,
Right.
when you
Right.
do the next step.
Yes. So the next step is I flip it so that the right sides are facing up. And then I'm going to take my points and I'm going to fold it into the fold. So here's where my seam is, right here. This is the seam that that almost did really good at.
You did well.
So
That
there's-
blended right in.
There is my seam. So I'm going to fold it over to the seam, and I'm going to fold this over to the seam. So then it looks like this.
Now you've got
Okay?
almost your square back
Now I
again.
have my square. Yes, exactly. And you can see that I have my drawn lines that are matching, which that's good, but we're not going to keep them matching.
Okay.
Because we're going to do something really, this is where the magic is.
Okay.
So now I'm just going to offset them by 1 line. So I'm going to flip it like this. So now I've got...
That's why it's important to have those
Yes.
lines on there.
Yes, absolutely. So now I have my lines that are straight across. And so now I'm going to go ahead and I will match up my lines, and I'll pin it all the way across. So then they match up really good. So I'll have a little piece on the end of each end.
Okay. Okay.
So
A little point.
A little point. So then I'll take it to my machine, and I will sew a 1/4 inch seam. So it kind of looks a little funny, but if I've done this so little so that it kind of looks funny, but I'm going to sew it 1/4 of an inch.
Yeah, if you have a bigger piece,
Yeah,
you're
it makes it a
obviously
little
going to
bit
be
easier.
a little bit,
Yes.
easier. But
so then when I open it up, then my lines will it will be in a tube. And then I will just take my scissors
and cut them.
and I will cut it along the line. So this is where I will not use my rotary blade. cutter.
Okay.
I will cut it with scissors.
Yeah,
So
you wouldn't
this
be
is-
able to because
no.
it's going to go around and around and
Yes.
around and around.
So this is where it's continuous. And so
Okay.
then once you're done with that, then you're going to end up with, look at all of this. Voila. Then you're going to, only it's not going to be,
folded
it's
in
not
half.
going to be folded. So then
Okay.
when you've got all of this together, then you're going to take it to the iron and you're going to press the raw edges together to make your binding, just like you do normally, okay? So that is how easy it is to do continuous.
Miracles,
Yes,
isn't
binding.
it? Just
Now-
it's like poof.
Yes,
And it's all in one piece. You don't have to worry about piecing all of those together
Exactly.
each separately.
yes. So
That's
you could
awesome,
actually
Jacki.
cut it, you could cut it as a 45-degree angle all the way across, but then you would have to seam all
all
of your,
of those together.
all of it together.
And this way, you've
Yes.
only got a couple of seams, and it's all and it is all
Yes.
together already.
Yeah. So
That's amazing.
Isn't that real? I loved learning about that, the continuous bias binding. That was really great because you
Yeah.
definitely want bias binding for this project. So once you have your bias binding all ready to go, which I did this, and look how much extra I have. So
But again, that was done with the fat
that
quarter.
was done with a fat
So
quarter.
you could do that with any
square.
size square.
Yeah, you could do a 14.
So when you did it with your fat quarter, did you have to square up your
I
fat
did,
quarter
I
to
did.
18?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
I did an 18 by 18 square.
Okay.
And then I had a little bit of extra left over
Yeah.
that you can use for it was enough that you could use for another project.
Yeah, you sure could.
Yeah, so I would definitely kind of guess, how much you would really need,
Mm-hmm.
and not do over unless you have another project that you want to use the bias. The bias binding
If
for.
you're doing any kind of, applique with flowers
Yeah.
and different things like that, you could definitely use it.
Oh, yes.
If this was green, like in the other one, you could use it for stems, for flowers, or anything
Absolutely.
like that.
Yeah, so always,
that's awesome.
keep it
Keep it.
because you may use it another time.
Yes.
Or if you're doing hot pads, even doing hot pads around that curve,
Yes.
it works really nice and it lays flat, which is
Great
really,
idea.
Which is
Great
really great.
idea.
You're not,
I love it.
You're not fighting the fabric, because if you did it the other way, you'd be fighting it and
Yeah.
you'd have puckers,
And it doesn't- yeah, it
you would
doesn't
not
lay flat.
Yeah, you would not be happy.
That's awesome.
So what we did is I made this 1 1/4, and then I took it and I pressed the raw edges together. And so here's my bias right here. Now before they already put the borders on, and we need to draw a line
as far
as-
to show you
to
where
show
you
you
want
where
it.
you want to
Okay.
where you want to go. So I just took and drew a line, a wavy line. I wasn't really. I had no pattern whatsoever.
Well, I don't
made
think you
it,
need to.
No, and in fact, if you really don't need a line, if you don't want.
Yeah,
I mean,
you
if you want and do free
You feel
form,
comfortable, just free motion.
free
it. Yeah.
and easy, you can just do it because
I
the
would draw a
fabric.
line.
Oh, that's totally me.
I would.
Yes.
I would draw a line, so I would have it right where you wanted.
I drew a line, and I just did it freehand. I did not. I just kind of did it with my friction pen. There again, being careful that you don't apply heat to it, because then it will go away.
So then you just stitch
then
it down.
I took it and
Stitch
lined
your
up
raw
the edge.
edges down.
Yep.
Okay.
So I started at the end. Just at one point, you can kind of. I'll show it here.
So when you come to the point where you have to join them, let's
Yes.
talk a little bit about that. You can
Okay.
kind of see
So
how
you can
just
see how I
put those on.
just sewed along my line. It's going to come. I'll try and let's pin this, and then maybe it will be easy to. Then it won't go anywhere. And you can pin this if you feel more comfortable pinning.
I think though
this.
that with the way it would just go, you could do it.
Yes.
Just follow the line and
And
stitch it down.
if I don't go on my line that I drew, it's okay.
Is it?
It is
Okay,
totally
good.
okay, because I did this with a friction pen, and it's going to.
It will go away.
Yeah, when I
that one's
when I
with a
press it.
friction pin, not
This
your
one,
Sharpie.
yes.
Okay, good.
Yeah. So then you'll just go ahead, and you can just see how it just follows that line, and it curves so beautifully. And that's why it's so fun to do the bias. So then when you come to the end, then there are a couple ways that you
Because
can do
I
it.
did see that you, on this one here, you cut it on an angle.
Yes, which that's how it came off when I cut it.
Oh, okay.
So
Oh, well, of course it
yes,
would.
yes,
Of course
it did.
would. That's right.
So what I would probably do is just cut this off.
Okay.
And just do it straight.
Okay.
Because there you go.
So either way, you could either do it like you do a binding on your quilt.
Yes.
You could put it together that way, or you could
Or
overlap
you
them.
can overlap them either way because it's going to lay just fine.
Yeah, either.
So then I will just open this. I'll just open this up, maybe finish my edges. You could even do it like a
Like
bias,
like-
the binding that you do binding. You can actually sew it, or you could just tuck it.
Tuck them together.
I would just tuck it together.
That's a great
actually.
idea.
So
Okay,
I would.
perfect.
That's all you have to do. So I've sewed like a really, really close to the raw edge here.
Okay.
And then what you do after, which is really cool, and in the pattern, it tells you the method of what, this is, what did she call it?
Did she just flip it?
Yeah, she just flips it here.
You just press it down.
Press it down, and then you're going to sew it.
Flip it, and then you
You're going
just
to
stitch
sew
it down.
Yep, really close to the fold.
Just right there on
Yep.
the edge of the.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That's it. So I would probably press this really good before I would press it as we go along, because then you may have a little. You don't
Yeah,
want
well,
to
you
have
can see
puckers.
that as it pulls on
Yeah.
this edge right here, and you want to make it so that it doesn't, because
Yeah.
your bias binding here, as you can see on this corner right here, this is going to be your biggest challenge right here is these
Yes.
corners. So you can pull it like that
And
and lay
put
it
it-
down,
yes.
and then it won't pull this
Yeah,
as fat.
so that's
as
why
much.
I would press it. You
Yeah,
know,
for
use
sure.
a really nice press with the steam, and even with some
Maybe even
a little bit of starch
Yeah.
would be really good. And make sure that that's nice and flat before you do the final
Final
stitch where you're stitching it down, and it will lay just beautifully. And it
This is
Isn't
this
that-
is so springy, so
it is
bright.
fun. So
This
anyway,
is awesome.
it was really a lot of fun to do this, and
I can't wait to see this all
yeah,
finished
this
up.
will be good. Yes.
It will be so fun.
So that's how you do the bias, the vine, and all that stuff. So
Okay.
now you're going to take it from here and tell us
Yeah.
how we're going to do the flowers.
Let's see how we're going to do these flowers. So I've got it stepped out here.
I'll move all my stuff out of the way.
Don't take my flower there,
Sorry.
Jackie. It's all good.
I have all this binding.
Yeah. Okay. So in the pattern, Suzanne gave you a template. Okay. So this is the template for the flower. Okay. So what you're going to do is you're going to take 2 pieces of fabric that are 6.5-inch squares, and you're going to fuse them together. Now you can see on this one I've got just a red and white polka dot, and I thought that would make such a cute flower.
Yes, that would.
So what you're going to do is we've used the Pro Bond. The Kimberbell Pro Bond is like heat and bond, but it's a little bit
a little
heavier.
thicker, a
It's a
little
little
bit-
heavier,
yeah.
and it makes it so that your flowers are a little bit stiffer, which makes it really nice. So actually, I'm going to take this to the iron. So you guys ready to move with me for a second? We're going to go to the iron.
These are so cute. I love these, and it just adds a dimension to the
It really
the quilt,
does.
which
So
is
you've
darling.
got 2 sides to this Pro Bond. You have the paper side here, and then you have this side here that's a little bit rougher. That's the side that you want to put on the wrong side of your fabric. So you're going to put that on the wrong side of your fabric like that, and then you're just going to press it down. And you
How
can
long? How long do you leave it on, Sandra?
This actually works really quick.
Oh, okay.
10, 15 seconds.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Not a long time, actually. It worked really fast. I have just really enjoyed using the Kimberbell Pro Bond. Then I'm going to let this cool off a little bit. Okay. and it's a little warm, and I don't want to do it too soon. So basically what you're going to do then, after you pull that paper off of there,
Okay.
okay, let's see.
So then
oh, that worked.
Oh,
There you
awesome.
go. That was pretty
And it's
fast,
shiny,
wasn't it?
So yeah.
It is still a little sticky. Okay, then you're going to take this, and again, on the wrong side, you're going to put those two pieces of fabric together, just like that.
So you're fusing the wrong sides together.
Correct.
Okay.
Okay, so you've got both of your pieces of fabric, and they're all fused together, just like that. Okay, now back over here. I've got that all done. So at this point, what you're going to do is you're going to take your template and you're going to trace it onto your fabric. So this is the template that she gave us in the thing. You're going to trace that on there, and then you're going to cut it out.
Okay.
Okay, so I've got it all cut out and it's ready to go right here.
Cute.
Okay, so once it's done that way, you're going to again take it back to the iron and you're going to get it warm. Now,
So really,
just-
if you didn't want to do the 3-dimensional, you could actually just adhere that, right?
yeah.
To-
Yeah, you could just take this and attach it right
Attach it
to,
with- if you
you
didn't-
wouldn't have to have it stand out. You
Okay,
could
gotcha.
actually just take it and,
Okay.
and do that. Then you're going to need to find something that you can press it into the middle of it. Now you'll notice here I've got a couple of seam rollers.
Yes,
okay?
those are so great to have in your.
They
in
really
your
are. They work really
quilting room.
great.
Yes.
So this one here is a little bit bigger, and I found this one worked really great for this size of a flower. Now I'm also going to show you a couple of little things that I like doing. So anyway, what you're going to do when this is warm, you're going to take this and you're going to push it to the middle of it, and it even works a little bit while it's just like this.
Okay, so
You'll
you're
do a little bit.
you're molding
You're
it,
going to just
mold
mold the
it on.
center of that
Oh.
onto here. And you can see
Oh, my-
that even that,
I
with
love
just my
that.
hand, will do
Yeah.
it. But it works even better
When it's warm. So
Okay?
do you have to hold it until it's completely dry or warm?
Yeah,
cooled
you
off?
hold it till it's a little
Till
bit
it's cool.
Till it's a little
Okay.
cool, and then it has
Then it will hold
it'll
its shape.
it'll stay and hold its shape. So you can
So
see
cute.
right there. I've held that one a little bit more, and it's holding its shape.
That's so
Okay,
fun.
and then you can take your button, but I took it just a little step further.
So this is what you could put the
Yeah.
button. Oh,
Yeah.
cute.
Now your
Cute.
button is a little bit bigger, but I took it just one more step further. I wanted
Of
my
course you did. We all love to embellish and do
Yeah.
things our own way, right?
Right. And I
so.
wanted it I wanted a little bit more to the flower.
Yeah.
Okay. So I took her template here to my printer and I downsized it. And this one I downsized to 80%.
Okay.
And this one I downsized to 70%.
Okay.
Okay, so
three
you
different
can
sizes.
see the three different
Yes.
sizes. I'm going to make my flower just a little bit more dimensional.
Okay.
Okay.
Which I think that's awesome.
So with that, I needed a little bit smaller
Okay.
end to make my flower stand out.
I'm thinking a wooden spoon actually would be
You're right.
good. I'm just trying to think of everything I have at my house
At your
that
house
would
that
have
would work, right?
that would have
Right.
those different.
Okay, so then I took
sizes.
it and look at what I've done here.
Oh, that's really
The
cute.
difference in those right there. Let
Yeah.
me pull those over there just like that. That works a little bit better.
Oh, I love
Okay,
that.
so now let's take it and we only
can
want
put-
one. So you can kind of put one in
Oh,
and
that's cute.
there's your button in the middle.
Oh, that adds a lot. That's
What does
darling.
that do to your flower?
Yeah, I just
How do you like that one? Okay, or if you wanted, you could do
all three of them. And,
All three of
so
them,
that
and
it
they're just
looked-
kind of move them around a little bit, and then you
Oh,
could
that's
even
fun.
open it up a little bit. Now, I took mine and really squeezed it tight. But look
And
at that,
I love that.
even more so.
Oh, that just really makes that stand out.
I like that
Yes.
flower.
Well, that was very clever.
I just thought it was great. I like the dimension of it a
Uh-huh.
little bit better. So that's just an idea of what you can do there. But you'll need, if you want to put all four of them on there, maybe you only want to put one or two, or maybe you want a colored one and do it in the red and white
Oh,
like
I
this
love
one.
that.
You could even use your different colors of fabric. They don't have to be white.
Yeah.
That's for sure. But that's what's, obviously, that's the ones that are in the kit. But yeah, you can just kind of take this flower a little bit and embellish it a little bit more, make them a few different sizes, and there you go.
Oh, that is so fun. What a
So-
clever idea. That was
Yeah.
great to make that your own and
Yeah.
to try something different.
I wanted it a little bit different, and I just wanted it to look a little different, dimensional and that. So yeah, I think
Oh,
it
that
will
would be
turn
fun.
out really great.
You could
so.
play around with this idea and put it in on a wreath. I can see it on a wreath.
Oh, yes.
I can see it in so many different
Yeah, you could
different ways.
definitely use that flower, do that same technique with that flower and make it just for a lot of different things, that's for
Oh,
sure.
How fun. So then you're all done with your,
Yeah.
other than you just need to quilt it and bind it.
Right.
And you've learned how to do bias binding, so you could actually do the bias binding,
yes.
with this table topper as
Yeah.
well.
Now, Jackie, I understand you have another way that we can make binding.
Yes, and I can't wait to show you next.
Okay.
Yeah, another way to do some bias. So stay tuned. We're going to bring Kris back on with us, and we're going to show you a really fun way to also do more bias binding.
Okay. We'll see.
Hi, it's Kris from My Girlfriend's Quilt Shop, and I'm here to ask, have you started your Stitch Your Story blocks yet? If you're wondering what exactly is Stitch Your Story, let me share a few ideas with you. It is actually a movement that we are doing here in the year 2025.
It is the stories of those who came before us that ultimately help us understand who we are as human beings.
We're asking you to create a personal 12.5-inch unfinished quilt block each month. And it's according to a theme. And we're going to give you different ideas throughout the year on what the theme is and what techniques you could possibly do, because really there's no right or wrong way to do it. It is all up to you and your own creativity.
Today, my legend is a true legend.
Yes.
So I'm really excited.
There's no rules. We want you to have fun and try different techniques throughout the year.
Of course, we gotta have
legs can kick.
major 3D dimension going on.
It's even better than a picture, right?
All your questions could be answered by watching 3 Themes Live every month. That is going to be your go-to resource for everything Stitch Your Story.
As you guys share
Right.
your stories with us, I've learned a little bit more about different people.
We want to celebrate your progress, so please, by all means, share with us your pictures, your stories, and you can do so by using the hashtag StitchYourStory2025 and hashtag MyGirlfriend'sQuiltShop so that we can follow along on your journey to a complete quilt by the end of the year. Hi everyone, welcome back to 3 Themes Live. Hey you two, I loved that.
Wasn't that great?
What a great demonstration on both accounts.
Well, I tell you, I've learned a lot about bias.
Yes.
Working with the bias, doing
Yes.
bias binding.
Yes.
And I'm not scared about it anymore.
Good.
I think I'll do it more.
I think, someone in the comments, they said, oh, I wish we had a how-to sheet on this.
Yay! Guess what?
Guess what?
We got
We
you
do.
covered.
We do.
That's awesome.
So if you are wanting to download a free technique sheet on how to do the continuous bias binding,
Yeah.
just like Jackie showed us today, we got you covered.
That's
so
awesome.
I know for me, I always have to remind myself, now how was that done again?
Exactly how do I
Yeah.
put that on there? Yeah.
I
So
had to-
this is really nice.
I had to do quite a few different.
Did you Google this and watch a YouTube video?
Oh, well, I actually, it was trial and error on a lot of stuff. So there was a lot of
we have
scrap
to remind
binding that I have
ourselves.
at my house. And so I know I'm going to use it for all kinds of different
You're set.
stuff. So I am set for a
Set
minute.
for all those projects.
Yes.
And just as a reminder, we do have this darling table topper as a downloadable pattern. You can find it right now at mygirlfriendsquiltshop.com. Plus, we have a kit.
We do have a cute,
and
really
it's
cute
darling.
kit. Yes.
And
So-
we'll be selling it tonight on Comment
If-
Sold as
unless
well.
everybody buy some. But yes,
That's right.
at least.
And the flowers are adorable too.
Well, I like some of the ideas that people put in there. I would do something on the edges of it. You could use
cute.
some
Yes.
fabric
Yes.
paint or markers. And again, use different colors of
Definitely.
fabric and different. I think it would absolutely be adorable.
I love it.
Yeah.
I do too.
Okay,
So
so
fun.
Jacki, you showed us one way today of how to not only create the bias, but to actually add it to the borders.
Yes.
And so this second technique may find it a little easier, perhaps?
Yes,
Okay,
for
so
sure.
tell us what we're
Sure.
looking at here.
So we are actually, this is one thing I discovered, was this is called the Clover Bias Tape Maker. So you know the packaged, you can buy it actually packaged.
Yeah, bias tape, you
Bias
can.
tape
Uh-huh.
in a package by itself. But you can actually purchase this tool, which we have available for you. And this is actually a 1-inch pin, 1 inch? It's 25 millimeter. Okay, so tell me what that is
Yeah,
in
1
inches. Oh, it's a
Well, no, it
It's
would
a little
be
bit more.
actually, yeah.
It's a little bit more. So they have different sizes.
Yeah.
So this is the one that kind of coordinates with the one that we're doing.
Okay.
And so it has, if you look inside, kind of show them the
There,
inside
like
of
a
it. Can you show?
There you go.
There
Yeah.
is a little
Opening.
opening right here. So we are actually going to run fabric through there.
Okay.
And I'm going to show you how cool
All
this
right,
is.
let's do this.
So rather than go and do the whole continuous buying, this one you're doing it kind of all together. So you will either cut your strips.
Now, you still have to cut on the bias.
Yes, you do.
You're right.
So,
Okay.
so you can either do it two ways. You can cut the bias strips on a 45 degree. You can do it straight of grain and just cut them to whatever size you want. This
So if
one,
you're working with curves, you definitely need to use
Yes.
bias. But if you're not working with curves,
Then
you
this
can
works.
then work it
Then
just a
this
straight
works just
straight
okay.
of grain.
so
Okay,
I
perfect.
have cut my piece of a strip that's 1 3/4. Okay, and it tells you all of this in your instructions.
Good.
What size strip that you need to use.
Okay.
So, and then I have just clipped my ends so that that's kind of,
Let me show them right here.
yeah.
Okay. You've
Nothing,
kind of
nothing
made it
fancy.
a little bit at an angle, just
Yeah,
to get it
just
in
to get
easier.
it into the, I keep wanting to say machine. It's not a machine. It's
The contraption.
whatever it is. Come up with
Bias maker.
the bias tape maker. Yes.
Just
Yes.
the bias maker. Let's
So
just
then
put it that way.
I'm going to
There
take
you
it.
go.
I'm going to take it to the
Ironing board.
ironing board,
Uh-huh.
and with right sides up, I'm just going to kind of push it in with my fingers. Then I'm going to turn it.
I like the fact you're using that stiletto, Jacki.
Yes. Well, this is really good when you're using heat as well.
Yes.
You don't want to get your fingers
Yes.
into this either. So then I'm going to turn it this way. And I'm going to use this by Annie stiletto. And there's a little opening right here that I'm going to just kind of push it through, as you can see. Can you see that? Kind of get started.
Isn't that awesome?
So
That's
it
a great
pushes
thing
it
to
through.
use, to push that
Yeah.
through. Otherwise, you're trying to
Yeah.
go, how am I going to
Yeah.
get this out?
Yeah.
You're pushing the
Exactly.
fabric, and it's
so
just
from
not working.
there, then I'm going to just push it out a little bit, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to take my iron and just push it. So then all I have to do is, that's why this is also, you can push this along, and
that little
as you
handle.
push it through, it will,
That is
Okay.
great. That is great.
okay, so then I'll just keep doing that, and then I have my bias tape. Then
That's perfect.
at this point, I could just take this and put this in the middle of my drawn lines, and then you would sew on each side to attach it to the table
Okay,
topper.
yeah. I see
Instead
So
that.
you wouldn't have to sew it
So
down
I wouldn't
and
have
then
to-
flip it.
Right. So this way, I would just lay this on top and then stitch really close to the edge. You know, maybe an 1/8 of an inch.
Yeah, just doing a regular
Yeah.
top stitch.
Just a top stitch would
Now,
be
the
good.
question is, how many of you out there have these bias
And
tape
have not
makers
used them.
and have
Yeah,
never
that's
used
yes.
it
Yes.
or
Yes.
don't know what it is.
Yeah.
Isn't that the way it works?
It's
Oh,
so-
yes, yes, yes,
yeah,
yes.
there's probably multiple out there. They're like, I have one of those deep
Yes,
in my
I know,
drawer.
right?
Or you're looking for ways to use it more.
Yeah,
This is a great way
I
to
mean,
do it.
if
Yeah.
you're doing any kind of stuff, I mean, you just have to pull it. And look
Yeah.
how nice.
It's beautiful.
And it's all
Yeah.
pressed for you.
And I can see, Jackie, why you cut at an
Yes.
angle at the beginning.
Yes, it really
helps
does
get
help
it through.
to
Helps
get
get
it
that in.
started. So when you're planning, at least an inch or two, make sure that you don't plan on that inch or two that you
Right,
started.
right,
So that's what
yeah.
I discovered this, and well, yeah, it was in my sewing room, and I was one of those that have all of the sizes and
exactly.
have never used it. So
I'm right there with you.
Ray's right there
that's
with
me.
you, too.
So there you go. That's me.
Yeah.
For
Oh,
sure.
my
So I'm
goodness, I
excited
love
that
that.
I discovered that because
Yeah.
that would even make
That
it
works really well.
Make it really easy too.
Absolutely.
To attach to the vine.
Anita said that she's used them so much and she's burned her fingertips.
Yeah.
So
That's why it's great to have something
Yeah.
to hold on to that.
yeah, the little handle.
Yeah, this handle.
Well,
Yeah.
do
for sure.
we forget that that's what that thing's for?
Well, possibly.
Yeah,
Maybe.
Yeah, that you're
Maybe.
trying to do this. You're
Yeah.
trying to do this, but no, you want to.
You want to.
And with your little pinky up, make sure you have your pinky.
Yeah.
You know,
gotta have
sliding it through like you're doing tea.
Pinkies up, pinkies up.
Pinkies up for sure. Yeah, so
All
fun.
right, yeah, Ray says she knows how to use it, but she forgets to use it.
Yes.
And Janet has one but needs to use it now.
Okay, well, let's
Let's
get
start
them out
using
and
them.
start using
Exactly,
them
I
for
love
all
it.
kinds of projects.
Fabulous. Thank you, Jackie.
You're very welcome.
That is a great discovery. We hope that today has been inspiring to you. Just as a reminder that, again, if you're interested in the pattern, you can find it for sale at mygirlfriendsquiltshop.com, or it's free in the club.
free in the club.
So
That's
club
great.
members, you can find it in your portal. So, darling, thank you, Suzanne, for putting this together for us. It is just too cute for words.
Yes.
You know, I could see doing all kinds of things with this
Oh,
strawberry
yes.
block, too.
Oh, I think so, right.
And now is a great time to start on it because you're
'cause-
coming spring and into summer, and what a great little topper would be
Yeah.
on your table.
Yes,
Yes.
definitely. Before we leave you today, we want to invite you to a special swig night coming up next week. Let's take a
Yay.
look. Let's find you the perfect machine. You know, last time we talked a lot about the Solaris
Yes.
and the Applaud. Well, guess what? We've got some more machines for you
Yay.
at incredible prices. We're talking the Altair 2 and the Bloom. These are event model machines. You know what that means?
Yeah.
Slightly. Slightly used.
Well, no.
Slightly, like a few
Like-
hours
like
of use
maybe
with.
not-
With lots of discounts.
Yeah.
On that is what I'm thinking. I'm like, okay, do I need
Exactly.
another machine?
I think so.
I'm like
yeah.
going, okay, all right.
Okay.
I love those
It
machines.
doesn't take much for
No.
Jackie. She's just like, I'm sold. That
love-
sounds
yeah.
great. Yeah, it is a great machine. The Altair 2 is the machine that we use
Yes.
every single day,
Right.
just about on
On
Three
here,
Things
we do.
Live.
And I use
we
them
love
for
it.
embroidery club, and I
Yes.
use them for our events.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's
they're
fun.
amazing machines.
So if you're looking for a machine and you're thinking, you know what, this might be the right time. I just
Yeah.
got a tax return. Perhaps. I don't know what it
There
might
you go.
be.
Lucky
Tune in.
you.
And it is next Tuesday, I
yes,
believe.
the
Yeah,
20
next Tuesday
yes.
at 5:30 p.m. Mountain Time. And just for coming on, guess what? We've got a really amazing giveaway. We're going to be giving away a baby lock Bloom. No, Aurora.
We're talking about the
We're talking about the
But
Bloom.
we're
We're giving
giving
away
away
another
the
Aurora.
That is really
just for being on, and everyone has a chance to win. You do need
That's
to be
fun.
on live
On live.
and be present to win. So,
Yeah.
all right.
So fun. But that's
That's not out.
that's not
We
all
have
the
another giveaway.
We sure do. So
So as promised, for those of you who sent in your photos of Proof of Life and get in the photo, we said, you know what, we've got a special surprise for a couple of people out there. Yesterday we announced one winner. Today we have another winner
Yay.
of that darling strawberry table topper. And this winner today is going to win the teal look.
It's so pretty.
It's darling, isn't
Teals
it?
and purple. Yeah.
Yes,
They're
very,
going to
very
have to
fun.
wait a little while to get it because we got to finish it
Yeah.
first.
No worries.
Yeah,
We
but
are
no worries.
on it.
We've
We
got
will
it.
We'll get it to you.
All right, so are you ready? Who's today's winner? Barb Laxon.
Yay,
Barb Laxon is today's winner.
Oh,
so
congratulations.
Yay, that's
congratulations.
so fun.
That
We're
is so
excited for
fun.
you. Give us a few extra days and it will be off in the mail to you
Yes.
in no time. So, all right, very, very, very fun, you guys. I
It was
love it.
fun. It was.
All right, thanks everyone. We hope you've enjoyed this week's shows. We are off for the rest of the week as far as Three Themes Live, but we hope you'll join us next week because we have some great shows all about spring cleaning.
Yeah, that's our spring cleaning. Don't we all need that?
Yes.
Unfortunately, yes.
Yes,
It's
we
one
do.
of those necessary evils, but it's a good thing to do, for sure. So we're going to be talking about that, spring cleaning in the sewing room, and we hope you'll join us for 3 really fun episodes next week. So, all right, if this is something that you enjoyed today or any of the days that we do Three Themes Live, we would be incredibly grateful if you shared it with your friends. So be sure to share on Facebook, social media, or even just by word of mouth is always a great thing. We love meeting new people and seeing all of you here. So
We do.
have a wonderful rest of your day. Keep doing all the things you love, and we hope to see you again real soon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.